Welcome to the Prophecy Club. Today our topic is going to be Putin just killed the petrodollar. This is what we've been watching for. We've been told since 2010 this is coming. We've got a lot of warnings about this, and now here it is. So based upon what I'm about to read today, I think it is very realistic to expect our dollar to start falling in value shortly after the first of the year. And then shortly after that, again, what the prophecies say, down 30%, 50%, 66%, worthless as leaves blowing in the wind. And once a year, this is our annual drive to try to come up with enough money to reach more people. And our goal this year is $77,000. Now, I know you may be saying, wait a minute. You're on social media. It doesn't cost anything to be on social media. No, it doesn't cost anything to be on there, but it doesn't necessarily mean anybody's going to find you either. For us to reach a lot of people, we have to advertise. And that advertising costs money. We want to be able to budget between $2,000, $5,000, and eventually get it up to $7,000 a month at advertising. And in order to do that, we need your help. And so the goal is $77,000. And a lot of ministries say, hey, can you send $5 or $10? And sure, if you can, that's fantastic. Whatever you can send. But I believe that the Spirit of the Lord is speaking to people right now that God is blessed and they can give, I don't know, maybe even the whole $77,000, but certainly more than $5 or $10, because the more money we have, the more we can advertise, the more people we can reach. All of that counts up to souls. Souls that are going to be there in eternity with us. And we want a lot of souls in there. So pray and ask God, see if He would nudge your heart to give, and if so, how much. And if you want to, you can just click on the little QR code that you're looking at the bottom of the screen there, and just act like you can take a picture of it. The little yellow box comes around it, touch the yellow box on your screen, and it takes you over, and you can give quick, simple, and easy. And we're also asking people to sign up to become members for $9.90 a month or more. Okay, so that's enough of that today. So this is, and I'm going to keep it short today. At least I think I am. But this is some of the most important information I've seen in years. 34 trillion in US Treasuries said to be worthless. Let me read that again. 34 trillion in U.S. Treasury is said to be worthless. Claims the Bank of Japan, Federal Reserve collapse after Russia signs currency peg agreements with the Saudis and the UAE and OPEC. Now, what does that mean? As I write this, Hal Turner says, the alarm bells are starting to go off over intel circuits regarding the visit by Russian President Putin to the UAE and Saudi Arabia yesterday. Well, we talked about that. Okay, we already said he's down there visiting. And that's probably not good for America. On that trip with Putin was the chief of Russia's central bank and Chechen leader Kadyrov. According to intel, Putin signed currency pegs. All right, now, what's a currency peg? I'm not certain, I'm not an expert in this, but I think kind of like the US dollar is fiat currency, it's not pegged to anything. It used to be pegged to gold. You could actually take a paper dollar in and actually get a gold coin for it. But that was back in, I think it was 16, no, not 16. Back in 1913, I think was the last time you could do that. And then, of course, Nixon took us off the gold standard. In other words, he unpegged us from the gold standard. Now, I think that's right, but I'm not an expert on this. Okay, so what is this saying? It's saying that now, according to Intel, Putin signed currency pegs with the United Arab Emirates, they have a lot of oil, and Saudi Arabia, which are already done on behalf of all OPEC. What does that mean? It means that from now on, they're going to start selling currency. Let me back up. From now on, they're going to start selling oil in another currency other than the dollar. And it's pegged at the end of the day to oil and perhaps even some gold. But what they're saying is they're going around the American dollar. As a result, many countries that have had to have dollars on hand in order to buy crude oil now don't have to have those dollars on hand, and they're going to start dumping them. That's the reason 34 trillion in US Treasuries are said to be worthless, because now they've been putting them up for sale, and it used to be that this was the gold standard. It used to be that if you had any extra money and you wanted to make money on it, you wanted to make certain you got your money's worth, what you do is put it in US Treasuries. But now, no one wants them. Why? I think that, in order for them to bring in the new currency system, they have to kill the old one. Just like in Russia, they killed the old currency system, they brought in a new currency pegged to gold. What they're going to do is bring in a new currency system, and it will be pegged to assets, so the rumor is. This is huge. This is huge. This is saying that the dollar is about to die, the petrodollar, and then after it fully dies and is fully buried, then they will start bringing out the new currency. Now, I know that sounds like a wonderful thing, but we also know, and he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark on the right hand or in the forehead, and no man might buy or sell, save he had the mark, the name of the beast, or the number of his name. That's where this is heading. Now let me reread this last sentence. So according to Intel, Putin signed currency pegs with both the United Arab Emirates and Saudi Arabia, which are allegedly done on behalf of all OPEC. That just said that all the oil is no longer pegged to the dollar. It's now pegged to probably the Russian ruble. According to Intel, these currency pegs destroyed the petrodollar, which then caused US Treasuries to become worthless. Nobody wants dollars anymore. Now, he goes on to say, I'm not an expert. I don't understand this, and I'll agree, I'm not an expert on this either, but I know the prophecies. And the prophecies say it's going to drop 30% immediately overnight. Not a gradual thing where you can prepare. It's immediately overnight. And for that, by the way, I will send you to prophecyclubgold.com. prophecyclubgold.com. I can't give financial advice. I cannot tell you that if you've got a bunch of money in the bank, I cannot tell you you're about to lose it. Hopefully I don't have to. Hopefully you can look at this and see, all right, let's go on. Now, this is the raw intel. This is exactly what was on the raw, or the intel circuits. Bank of Japan has collapsed. Do you know how big that is? Federal Reserve has collapsed. Now, he doesn't have any verification on this, and he's about to say that he did not find any confirmation anyplace. So it may be that it's only rumor. I doubt it. We've been watching for this. Bank of Japan has collapsed, Federal Reserve has collapsed, and SoftBank has collapsed. Now, I don't know what SoftBank is, but I know what Bank of Japan is. The currency peg signed between OPEC, parenthesis, Putin's visit to Saudi Arabia and UAE on Putin's visit yesterday, and the central bank of Russia's chief Elvira Nabiullina brought an end to the petrodollar. In other words, the fiat dollar that has been basically pegged to, really oil. That's the thing that's backed it up, because people had to have it in order to buy oil. But now, since it's not pegged to oil, that's what this is saying, if in fact it's true, since it's not pegged to oil anymore, since now apparently the Russian ruble, or perhaps even the Chinese yuan, but probably the Russian ruble, is what's pegged to oil, because you recall August 24th of 2022, that's when Russia signed an agreement with Saudi Arabia to become the new protector. Their new military is now Russia, not America. America was the protectors way back into the 70s, and that's what caused the American dollar to rise. That's the primary thing that God used to raise up America to be the wealthy, strongest nation on the earth, is the dollar was pegged to oil. Now, the Russian ruble Apparently, it doesn't say it directly, but you can assume it, the Russian ruble is now pegged to oil. Let's go on. The 1.1 trillion of U.S. Treasury bonds held at the Bank of Japan as the carry trade unwinds is responsible for the Bank of Japan collapse and the SoftBank collapse. The Federal Reserve has now collapsed because the signed peg agreements between OPEC, ending the petrodollar, and ISO 20022 and Basel III have collapsed. The $34 trillion in outstanding U.S. Treasury bonds, that's why yields exploded on both the Japan government bonds 10-year and U.S. 10-year at the same time. It's saying, again, I'm not an expert. I can't give financial advice. But I know what the prophecies say. We've been looking for this. Okay, this should not be a surprise to us. And I can't tell you if you've got money in the bank, you're going to lose it. I can't tell you that. But I can tell you, if I had any money in the bank, I'd be trying to get it put in gold and silver. Again, prophecyclubgold.com. Goes on to say, expect massive monetary deflation. It's over for the U.S. dollar. U.S. Treasury bonds are now worthless. God will now move much higher. Gold will now move much higher, and the oil price in dollar terms will collapse. This will now all unravel in the coming hours and a few days. So, in a few days, we'll know. Now, since we know that BRICS and 41 other countries come online with their asset-backed currency January 1, 2024, this fits. This makes perfect sense. I can tell you this. If I had a pile of money in an IRA or a 401 or a money market, or, if I had a pile of money someplace, right now I would be getting it in gold and silver. But I can't tell you what to do. I can tell you what I would do. All right, now, this is the last part, and I'm going to probably keep this short today. I must reemphasize that I do not yet understand almost any of this. I cannot analyze what I do not understand. But, and here's the point, the screaming over the intel circuits about this was so furious, and continues to be so furious, that I felt the need to report to you ASAP. One thing seems clear. Putin's visit to the United Arab Emirates and Saudi Arabia yesterday seems to have set off a firestorm, a financial firestorm. I just don't know how or when it will reveal itself in any of our markets. He says there are absolutely no indications whatsoever in any of the markets that something gigantic has taken place. No indications at all. So maybe nothing's happened. Maybe this is just intel. Maybe it's just coming and it hadn't arrived. I don't know. But in the land of the blind, the one-eyed man is king. In the land of those people that get themselves caught in a financial fall, and they don't get themselves caught because they prepared, they're in a very, very good position. So I'd recommend you go to prophecyclubgold.com, prophecyclubgold.com. I'd also send you over to josephskitchen.com to get yourself some food, josephskitchen.com, and also EMPShield.com. Use the promo code prophecy or get a $50 discount. And of course, it helps your Prophecy Club too. And I'm going to keep it short for today. Let's talk about Joseph's Kitchen. I actually cooked this loaf of bread you're seeing here. Takes me about 10 minutes to put the ingredients together, put it into a bread machine, push a button, 2 hours, 20 minutes later, I get a loaf of bread out like that. Now, if you cut that loaf of bread that weighs about 3 pounds, the loaves you get in the store have most of the good stuff removed. The loaves you get in the store are about a pound. That's 3 pounds because it's got the good stuff still in it. Cut that into 14 slices. And if I eat a slice in the morning and the afternoon, I'm satisfied. So on that basis, one loaf can sustain, I didn't say it's everything we want, can sustain one person for a week. Based upon that, it'll get you excellent nutrition. It tastes good, long storage life. 10 minutes to combine the ingredients, 2 hours, 20 minutes to make it. Other wheat that you order arrives in paper bags, which means bugs, rice, humidity can get a hold of it and ruin it. But at Joseph's Kitchen, they send it out in 100 mil thick buckets. Gives you long shelf life. It's stackable. There's some nitrogen infuses that hopefully gives it much longer shelf life, kills bugs and things like that. Easily resealable, keep in a climate-controlled area. And they have it in stock. This is a picture, an actual picture of part of the warehouse. Here's another picture of these. Actually, each one of those boxes holds 2,500 pounds of wheat. And I think they've got 54 of those boxes, a bunch of them. So Joseph's Kitchen can ship it to you right now. You go to most of these places, they say out of stock. So here's what you want to do. Everybody needs to get a machine package. These are the things that you need to grind the wheat berries. Put them into a grinder. 30 seconds later, you have flour. You put that into the bread machine along with 6 other ingredients. Push about 2 hours, 20 minutes later, you have a nice hot loaf of whole wheat bread. Then you have to decide how much food you want. You want food 2 people 1 year, 4 people 1 year, 6 people 1 year. And if you want to make certain you have it when the electricity goes down, you can also get yourself a solar generator, all at josephskitchen.com. josephskitchen.com. So what is an EMP Shield device? It's a device you can put on your car and your house that in an EMP attack is supposed to stop the attack. And if you go to empshield.com and if you use the promo code prophecy, they give you a $50 discount. They also have videos up there, shows you how to install it on your car and your house and everything, and it's not difficult at all. I've got one of them right here. Red goes to red, black goes to black, green goes to the car, body of your car, and you just peel it off the back, stick it under there. Got another device that goes on your house. So not complicated. Take you about 10 minutes to put them in. So empshield.com, promo code is prophecy. Rule number 1, make sure your name is written in the book of life. Rule number 1, ask Jesus to forgive your sins. That's the most important thing. Number 2, most important thing, whatever happens, do not take that mark of the beast. You take that mark of the beast, you can cut your hand off, you can chisel off your forehead, but you're going to spend all eternity with the beast, the false prophet, and 1,000 years later, Lucifer joins them, and all the other people that take the mark of the beast, and there is no hope of escape. You're tormented. That means you're in total pain. It means that your body, although it's not a body of flesh, whatever it is, your body is totally being burned for all eternity, and there is no stopping it. There is no escaping it. Whatever happens, you do not want to take that mark of the beast, which, by the way, I would recommend you go to prophecyclub.com and get my book, Miss the Mark. As a matter of fact, it's sold so much, we are, I think, now going into the 5th printing. This book is simple. It only takes about 3 hours to read. It's designed to give to someone that's not a Christian, doesn't know Jesus, that hadn't read the Bible. Give it to anybody out there. If they'll read the first few pages, they'll probably finish the book. And if they finish the book, I don't care what God they used to have, they're not going to take that mark of the beast. And chances are very strong they'll receive Jesus. So for that, I would send you to prophecyclub.com. 1 for $20, and you'll have to check and get whatever the other prices are. I will say this, they just went up substantially on our printing price. And so guess what? No surprise, we had to go up on our prices too. But nevertheless, not about money. It's about winning souls.